I want to be official. We are joined today, as you know, this is a joint program with the Queensborough President. I am thankful that he has joined forces with us today. I don't see him at the moment, but I know he is here.
Right here.
But for now, let us call, first of all, welcome everyone. You know that this monument behind me is one of the greatest prides I took as the borough president. And I'm so excited to be here today. And before we start the program, I want to thank so many of you for coming out when this location was graffitied, written upon, and slandered, I think a few months ago now. And many of you joined us here to look at it, to watch us clean it up, because that's what we do when someone disrespects our places. And we came here to really represent, so thank you for that. And for now, I would like to call upon the Francis Lewis High School Junior ROTC Color Guard to present the colors.
Please stand, everybody. Colors, attention. Forward. March. March time. March. Colors. Halt. Left. Face. Present. Arms.
I would like to call upon a very old friend of mine and everyone's here, Disabled American Veterans Chapter 32 Commander Albert Sandy Noble. Please to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stay salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Sandy, I thank you not only for today, but for your friendship over the years and for your great service to the men and women coming home still today. Sorry, I'm reading it. Vanessa Guzzo is going to sing our national anthem. Thank you so much. Which school are you from?
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain. Vanessa Guzzo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Order. Arms.
Vanessa, just so you know, I now will never do the national anthem again at one of my events, since you really amazing. Thank you very much for being here today. We'd like to now call upon Reverend Ijaz Nabi from the Faith Assembly to do our invocation.
Parade. Rest.
O God of people and nations, we pause at the beginning of this meeting to acknowledge your sovereignty over our lives and our country. We remember those who have served this nation. We honor them for their loyalty to God and country, for their good deeds, and for their friendship. May the good work that you have begun in them be brought to perfection, that our nation may be strong and our people secured and happy. Almighty Father, help us to remember that freedom does not automatically perpetuate itself, but that we have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and pray for it. Freedom, like faith, needs our attention and our cooperation. And so, Lord, we ask today that you be with us now to strengthen us, be about us to keep us, be above us to protect us, be beneath us to uphold us, be before us to direct us, and be behind us to keep us from straying, and be round about us to defend us. Blessed are you, O Father, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Reverend, for filling in as well. I appreciate it. If everybody would please be seated. We want to acknowledge a few people that are here, some of whom you will hear from, but just for those you won't hear from, but just to acknowledge them, Frank Galuzio is the district manager of Board 6. Betty Bratton is here from Board 10. Karen Peterson is here from CB 10. We have a representative for the Guyana Consulate, Fazul Yassouf. We appreciate that. I do want to thank my entire executive staff and staff that are here. We have Chief Assistant Jen Nyberg, who is there. Hi, Chief Assistant Jen Nyberg. We have counsel to the Chief Assistant, Vinnie Carroll. We have Colleen Babb, who heads up who's executive over community partnerships. We have Judge Dunn there, who is our judge on the Veterans Court, who is an amazing advocate for veterans diversion and all the services that veterans need as they enter and hopefully we keep from the criminal justice system. And I want to thank Judge Dunn. And as we continue, if people will let me know those that I also should, we have Jim McLean is here from Board 9, and many other folks that you're going to hear from. First of all, good morning. I'm so happy to see old friends. I'm so happy to be here when we are not looking at a computer screen. I'm so happy to be here with our borough president. I'll talk a little bit more about him in a second. I have to still get used to saying Mr. Borough President as opposed to Madam Borough President. Interesting. Since 1918, America has honored our veterans on this 11th day of the 11th month each year. In 1954, November 11th became the officially recognized Veterans Day. And it's my honor to stand with all the men and women who we owe a debt of gratitude to every single day. Every night that I put my kids to sleep safely in their beds, I thank all of you that are here today. And we take a moment here today to acknowledge those men and women around the world that makes sure that we continue to be able to be safe and sound in our homes. But you all here should know, you will never be forgotten. This monument behind me is, of course, the Veterans Monument for Vietnam. That was a personal issue to me when I became elected many years ago. I remember the men and women coming home from Vietnam. I remember the disrespect they were given. I remember what you all went through when you came home after fighting for our country. And it was imperative for me to do something because of that memory, to show you honor and respect and to say welcome home. And last May, we gathered here for Memorial Day service, and only a few weeks later, this memorial was vandalized, and many of us from Chapter 32 and many of us stood up here and made sure that folks realized that that is a sacred site here and that we will not stand for it being vandalized. It must be treated with respect. And, you know, as the district attorney, I'm very proud of the work we've done with veterans and the Veterans Court and the diversion that we are working on with our judicial system, making sure that people are taking PTSD seriously and that we understand that there are issues when you come back for fighting for our country. Interestingly enough, just so everybody knows, last week we actually arrested someone for the murder of a World War I veteran, if you can believe that. There were bones found in the backyard of a home. We used genealogy to find out who that person was. He was a veteran from World War I who fought for our country. And 45 years later, we made an arrest for the murder of that veteran, showing we will never, ever forget. We talked a little bit about the Veterans Treatment Corps programs. We believe they are important. My office is dedicated to them. And I thank you all for participating in those programs. And as we stand here today, we are honoring quite a few people. One of the traditions I started in the DA's office is honoring those ADAs and support staff who also should be honored pursuant to the events that we are doing. Today, we're honoring veterans who's an ADA and also a support staff, and you'll hear from them later. But it was important for me to continue within my office to show respect as well for those that are now working for the people of Queens County, finding justice for people of Queens County, but also served in their individual capacity for this country. And that was extremely important to our office. I also want to thank Francis Lewis behind me here. If you remember last time we did this event, the flags kept falling on us. A little levity on a serious moment. And the school was kind enough to agree to stand here behind us the entire ceremony. So can we give them a round of applause for all the work they've done? I now want to thank our Queensborough president who's co-sponsored today. I believe he has done an amazing job in fighting and advocating for this borough. We are a diverse borough. He will tell you there's 200 languages spoken in this borough. It is his job to make sure that we are never left off the map, that the diversity of this borough is a gift that we give the rest of the country and the United States of America. He does it well. I see him almost everywhere I go. I know he's doing his job right. I was the borough president. I have great faith in the job that he is doing as borough president. I now welcome him and thank him for co-sponsoring today. Borough President Donovan Richards.
Wow, what an introduction for the prior borough president, who I had big shoes to fill and still have big shoes to fill. To hear her say I'm doing a decent job is a big deal. So thank you, Melinda Katz. And it is great to be here this morning co-sponsoring this event with you. And let me just thank your staff and thank my staff, because it really does take true partnership to move this borough forward, and I think we've done that in our short period of time after 4.5 elections in like a year. I am relieved, and I want to thank all of you, because I have the freedom to run for office because of each and every one of you. And when we talk about democracy, our democracy here in our country, no matter how convoluted the conversation gets, I know there's a lot of political polarization out there, but the bottom line is that this is the greatest country on the face of the earth, the United States of America. Queens is the home of the largest population of veterans in the entire city, and we need to continue to work hard to ensure that the benefits that you deserve, you are sorely getting. You know, one thing that always irked me during the time of my inception of coming into government was that we had homeless veterans. And we should never, ever have veterans sleeping on our streets who paid the biggest price, and in many cases, the ultimate sacrifice for our country. The needs of veterans range from legal to housing, economic development, and social services. And I want you to know that my office is here to work and support. I heard the sad story about a location that was wiped out during Ida. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that your place is back up and running. We will leave no one behind, because that's what you've taught each and every one of us. This past May, I was proud to host my first Memorial Day event as Borough President, and it was great to highlight the service of our local veterans. And we thank each and every one of you for what you've done, because we know that freedom is not free, and that we stand on your shoulders, and that if it were not for your sacrifice, yes, as Melinda said, we would not be able to lay our children in the bed at home at night in a safe manner. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to just congratulate all of the honorees today. Many of you who have done selfless work for generations to come, not looking for accolades, not looking for awards, but just standing up for this borough in a big way. I want to thank each and every one of you. And I just want to end in stressing the importance of unity. This has been such a divisive time in our country, but we know one thing about Queens County. Where Queens County goes, the country goes. And one thing I love about Queens is our diversity, as the DA alluded to. 190 countries represented here, over 200 languages spoken. We should never, ever be complicit in supporting individuals or preaching hate or not standing up against hate or not breaking down those walls. You know, there's this saying, people want to build walls in this country. No, we need to build bridges, because we are stronger when we build bridges amongst each other. So it is great to be here this morning, and that's what you did. When you went out to fight for us, you didn't go out, no one cared if you were a Democrat or Republican, didn't care if you were black or white, you didn't care about sexual orientation or who you worship. When you got on that battlefield, you got on that battlefield for Team America, and we all have to continue to fight in a unified fashion to play for Team America. Thank you. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. Congratulations. Happy Veterans Day.
And I'm going to invite the Borough President back up when we do our awards for the photos as well as the presentations. I would like to acknowledge my Chief of Frauds. He also is Lieutenant Colonel in the Army. And he brings a lot of expertise to my office. Look, Joe Connolly. I could have said your name too. See? And I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble for doing that. But we have a lot of veterans here that we want to honor. But I'm particularly proud of those that work in my office. And I want to thank them for their continuation of service to the public. Right now, I'd like to ask the elected officials who have joined us to say some brief remarks. It's a beautiful day, though. I got to tell you, we're not in the sun this year. We have people holding the flags. I'm very happy about that. I would like to welcome Senator Joseph Adabo to say a few words.
Good morning. Actually, a great morning. When I get the opportunity to stand before veterans, it's a great morning. I'm of the belief every day is Veterans Day, not just one day of the year. Every day is Veterans Day. And it's not enough for us just to say thank you to our veterans. It's not. As an elected official, we have an obligation, we have an opportunity to address every single issue that confronts a veteran of today. Whether it be housing, mental health, the suicide rate that must be addressed, we have that obligation. That's how you say thank you to a veteran. Now, I want to congratulate all our honorees, and I will be brief. I want to congratulate all our honorees. I want to say thank you to all veterans. I want to highlight one veteran, and Specialist Sergeant Sean McCabe. Sergeant Specialist Sean McCabe just joined my office team. He's now a member of my staff, and I am so honored to have him. But it's a story of Sean McCabe that goes like this. He's sitting on his couch, possibly with a beer can in his hand, and he's watching the Iraq conflict. And he's watching our young men and women fight for our country. And he turns around to himself and he says this: why them and not me? Why them and not me? He puts his beer can down, gets into his car, and he lists in the Army. Thank you, Specialist Sean McCabe. No, you put the can down first. To all those men and women who said, why not me? To all those who were drafted, to all those who served, may God bless you all, and thank you so much. Thank you.
I'd like to ask Stacey Amato, Assemblywoman, to say a few words. I would also like to acknowledge Johnette Trail is here. She's an executive over appeals in my office. I'd also like to acknowledge Pat McCabe, who gave so many years of her life to public service and learned a lot from her. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It is a beautiful day here. You know, one thing I remember last year, I believe it was pretty cold, and we were all masked up and not knowing our future. So it is great to be here with friends and outside and celebrating our veterans. My name is Stacey Amato, and I represent the Howard Beach, Ozone Park, and Rockaway community. A little far north, but what it means to me to be here is to honor our veterans, to continue to bring attention to our veterans that are still serving, well, they're serving, and they come home. Once being elected, I joined the Veterans Affairs Committee to make sure that we protect the rights and the services that our veterans need when they get home. And as Senator Dabo said, and Queensborough President Donovan Richards, it's just not as simple as saying housing or to say thank you. It's a continuous fight to make sure that you get every service that you need when you come home. And it's not even that big at times. It's simple as just helping get a driver's license, right? Navigating our system. But we would think once you call up on the phone and say, I'm a veteran, that everyone starts going nuts and crazy. That we do here. I mean, this is a great audience. We're here for you. But our job is to keep having that lesson in our schools, in our community, to let everyone know how important our veterans is. And to call out Sean again and his beautiful family that's here. We were just saying that in the schools, they probably don't do a greatest job to acknowledge that his beautiful family's here and his two children, that they're here to get the best lesson possible, to know what it's like to honor veterans, to meet veterans, to know that they're not just simply young, and they're not the older guy that we see with the poppy, right? That we come in all shapes, sizes, ranges, religions, and that the services should be there easily. So my commitment standing here today is to recommit to continue to fight for the veterans, specifically in Queens and my neighbor like Sean, but throughout New York State. And when the Assembly started in the Senate, I believe we're doing that as we're trying to change the Division of Veteran Services to the Department of Veteran Services in New York State, which will have it will have a different impact on all your lives. So that is something we're fighting for. Again, I'm honored to be here. God bless our veterans, and God bless the United States of America. And God bless. Wait, Melinda.
You're okay.
You're right.
If she ruins my script here, we're in a lot of trouble. I would also like to ask Assemblyman Brian Barnwell to come up, and then we'll start the program.
Yeah, I can't get it up here, unfortunately. Thank you for everyone coming out today. I want to thank the District Attorney Katz for, I believe it was under her tenure that she helped fund this tremendously. And this is what, I mean, let's look at this monument. How amazing is this monument? There's not many like this in Queens, if at all. So let's thank her for that and her commitment, her ongoing commitment to fighting for veterans. Not many events around it. Again, not many events around the city of Veterans Day, but she has it. And I also want to commend Donovan Richards, Borough President, for also continuing that commitment. So that's what we need, because it seems like in today's day and age, everyone's so busy with everything else in their life that veterans are getting kind of pushed to the back, in my personal opinion. So when I see other people in government that are fighting for them, we all got to come together and continue that fight. But we cannot thank veterans enough, right? Every battle and every thing that we've had in this country, was because of veterans. They answered the call to battle. Every generation of Americans had veterans answer the call to battle. Everything else we have is because of that. So there's nothing else. Whatever it is, you want to go on Facebook, you want to have fun on Facebook, you want to go to the store and get whatever you want to buy at the store. It's because we had people, usually kids, answer the call to battle to give us that right. I don't forget it, and I make sure that everyone I see, I tell. That's why we have those rights. So thank you so much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay. I think that is the elected officials. I want to thank them for coming out here today. We have our first honoree, Sean McCabe, who you've heard a lot about. If the borough president wants to come stand with me, that would be great. If you want. Specialist Sean McCabe served in the United States Army. Actually, Sean, come on up with me. Come on. Let's not be shy. Sean McCabe, ladies and gentlemen, specialist. You come from a long line of community leaders,
Yes, ma'am.
and you're excelling. So congratulations to you. Thank you for the work that you have done. Specialist Sean McCabe served in the United States Army between 2004 and 2007. He was deployed in Baghdad, Iraq from 2005 to 2006 with the 4th Infantry Division. Sean was called up to active duty again in 2010 for a second deployment before completing his enlistment in 2012. As a civilian, he's been actively involved with VFW Post 2565 in Howard Beach. Sean also volunteers and participates in the upkeep of the Veterans Memorial in Coleman Square in Howard Beach. Additionally, Sean McCabe dedicates a large portion of his time to assist in the prevention of veteran suicides. He and his wife, Melanie, participate in outreach efforts on a regular basis to others who Sean served with to ensure that these men and women who served our country always have someone that they can speak with. Sean, on behalf of Queens County, on behalf of the veterans you have served, on behalf of those men and women who are still fighting today that know that they have someone to come home to, we honor you today by the DA's office and by the Borough President's office and everyone here today. Congratulations to you and thank you for your service to the country.
Okay, I guess now I get to say something. And since Senator Dabo said that I started working for his office, I took a page out of his book and made a note. Don't screw up. Okay. First off, since it is November 10th, got to acknowledge the runts of the litter. Happy birthday, Marines. All right. Yeah, listen, I'm just a kid from Ozone Park. You know, I was 18 working at a video store when 9/11 happened, and then my mother got me into service. That night, you know, we went downtown. She cooked about 300 pounds of spaghetti, and I cleaned pots. And while the cops and the firemen were digging through the rubble for their brothers, we were making sure that they had the energy to do that job. And a couple years later, I decided, you know, time for me to do my bit. And I joined one of the greatest units ever, 2nd Battalion, 77th Field Artillery. To all my guys around the country, around the world right now, I'm still thinking about you every day. To my wife, to my mother, you two have stood by me through and through, day in, day out, through the deployments and afterwards. And to my kids, you two are everything to me. As many of you guys know, it can get really bad, you know, when the metal meets the meat. And the two of you help keep the demons at bay. I love you with all my heart, and to the rest of my honorees, I'm humbled to be recognized and to be standing here in front of a bunch of hellish warriors like yourself. Thank you to all of you guys who paved the way and made such an inspiration to me. Thank you so much.
And I'll just read briefly the citation in your honor. Whereas the Borough of Queens is built on a foundation of outstanding people who, while working together, have forged a wonderful community based on hard work and mutual respect and made tremendous contributions to Queens at large. Now, therefore, it be it resolved, I, Donovan Richards, President of the Borough, present that and see that in you, Mr. Sean McCabe. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Well, I almost got through one veterans event without getting choked up, Sean. I blame you. So next we have an honoree from the District Attorney's Office. He is a paralegal in the Frauds Bureau, working under, I guess, the Lieutenant Colonel. See how that worked out? I would like to ask Specialist Darren Wilkes to join me here. Specialist Darren Wilkes enlisted in the United States Army and served from 1985 to 1988 in South Carolina, Virginia, Indiana, and Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn. He served as a trumpet player in the Army Band of New York City, a specialty band which performed over 300 concerts per year, often performing for visiting dignitaries and head of states visiting New York. Notable concerts include President Ronald Reagan, as well as former Presidents Ford and Carter. The band performed in '86 World Series for the Yankees owner George Steinbrenner, for Corazon Aquino, President of the Philippines. Darren also became the Army Master Fitness Trainer at Fort Hamilton after the Army instituted an advanced plan to improve physical readiness. His command participated in the New York City terrorist readiness training as a result of the terrorist threats against New York City in the 1980s. Darren continues to serve as a paralegal in the Frauds Bureau of the Queens District Attorney's Office. We thank him for his service on behalf of Queens County and to the country. Thank you, Darren Wilkes, Specialist.
Thank you.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm humbled to be among the veterans with us today that did serve in combat. I had always wanted to serve in the military. My father served in World War II. He was drafted back into during Korea. So I always had a desire to serve in the military. As the youngest of four, I also sought the military for a college fund. But I loved my time in the military. I loved the camaraderie. I still keep in touch with people that I knew from way back when. And I kind of find a similar camaraderie in the bureau here at the Queens DA's office. So I kind of equate the two as, we're fighting for good. And I thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Next, our honoree, Suzanne Bettis, ADA. Come on up, ADA Bettis. Sergeant Suzanne Bettis, Esquire, enlisted in the Marine Corps Reserves when she was 17 years old in Virginia Beach, Virginia. In 2005, then Lance Corporal Bettis voluntarily deployed to Al-Assad, Iraq, during Operation Iraqi Freedom as a personal retrieval and processing specialist in mortuary affairs. Corporal Bettis volunteered for a second tour of duty with the newly formed Detachment Personnel Retrieval and Processing Company and deployed to Fallujah, Iraq in 2007. After 7.5 years in the Marine Corps, then Sergeant Bettis decided to pursue her dreams of practicing law and was honorably discharged in July of 2010. She moved from Georgia to New York after being accepted to New York Law School. While in law school, Ms. Bettis became president of the newly formed Military Justice and Veterans Association at New York Law School and has been appointed to the Women's Veterans Advisory Council at the New York City Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs. Since 2014, ADA Bettis has been an assistant DA in my office, having been assigned to Criminal Courts, Intake Bureau, Homicide Investigations, and Felony Trials. Ms. Bettis's personal military decorations include Select Marine Corps Reserves Medal, Global War on, excuse me one second. 56 years old. I'm allowed.
Young.
Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism Services Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal with Bronze Star device, 2 certificates of commendation, Sea Service Deployment Ribbon, National Defense Medal, and Armed Forces Reserve Medal. I'm a little embarrassed about giving you this right now. But I am so proud of ADA Bettis for the work she did for our country, and I'm proud for the work she does for the people of Queens County every single day. Congratulations, ADA Bettis.
Woo! Well, good morning, if it's still morning, everyone. Thank you all. My personal thanks I definitely want to give to the Vietnam veterans in the audience today. And I do that because when I came back from my deployments, I was in a dark place that I didn't know I had kind of fallen into. And it was a Vietnam vet that saw whatever he saw in me at the VA hospital, pulled me aside, and helped me through a really tumultuous time. So I personally thank all of you in this audience that are Vietnam vets who didn't forget the new young vets coming back, and I appreciate that. And again, since today is Devil Dog Day, as I would put it, happy birthday to all the Marines, far and wide and in the audience. Last week I turned 37, and I guess today I turned 246, and I guess I'm aging pretty well. So with that said, thank you all so much. Remember all the veterans far and wide, past and present, and God bless all of you.
And I have a citation in your honor, and all I have to do is say, wow. What a resume. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Our fourth honoree is the president of Chapter 32. Chapter 32. Ahura, I want to take a moment to remember, as we do every year, Pat Toro. You know, many of us remember him, some of us, I guess I'm getting to that age where some of us might not. But Pat Toro was one of the first people to walk into my office when I was an assemblywoman. Has to be 30 years ago now. I was 10. But it had to be, I guess, 28 years ago or so. Walked into my office and said, you know, there's no Vietnam veteran memorial for the people of Queens County that fought in that war. I was like, all right, it's a great idea. And, you know, since then, he never stopped fighting. As we all know, he died years later of a disease he got while fighting. Just so you know, there is a location on here dedicated to him and to all those that are still dying with diseases that they got while fighting for our country. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge his memory. Our last honoree today is Douglas Williams. So, Mr. Signalman Williams, will you join me, please? Signalman Second Class Douglas Williams enlisted in the United States Navy in 1974. Upon the completion of boot camp, he served aboard the USS Yosemite, a destroyer tender for 6 years as a signalman, home-ported at Mayport, Florida. He also served 2 years of shore duty at the U.S. Naval Station in Norfolk, Virginia, before retiring from military service at the rank of Signalman Second Class. Douglas Williams currently serves as the president of the Vietnam Veterans American Chapter 32, located in Maspeth, New York. He is the second vice commander of the George P. Davis American Legion Post 116 and a member of the Polish Legion of American Veterans Post 4. I am so proud to give this to you today. We have a very long history. I'm so proud of the work that Chapter 32 does to lift people coming home today. As ADA Bettis mentioned, it is so important that no generation is ever left behind again. Congratulations on today.
Thank you, District Attorney Katz and Borough President. I'm not much of a speaker, so when I get to speaking, I trip over my tongue. So I just want to say happy birthday to the Marines. I think that's in order. And I also want to take a moment to thank these young people behind me for standing up so long and enduring our blabbering. So thank you. After I got out of the Navy, people asked me why I continued with veterans, because I believe in our country, and I believe in what vets do and what vets stand for. And I'm proud to be president of Chapter 32. So thank you so much.
Give a citation in your honor as well. And I believe we met at a street fair, right?
Yes,
This
we
summer.
did.
Exactly.
Yes.
I remember. Amazing
Thank
how
you.
we're back together again.
All
Thank
right.
you. God bless you, sir.
Yeah, I feel like I grew up with Chapter 32, right? I feel like you guys raised me. So we are so happy to honor you, Sigmund Williams. Thank you. Now comes to my favorite part of this program, the most touching part of this program. I think I'd like to do it the way we did it last year, which is, we are going to pay tribute to those veterans who are part of our lives and are no longer with us. We invite anyone in attendance to stand up and speak their name of a veteran who passed. We will then honor our fallen heroes with the playing of taps. I would like to start by recognizing two veterans that were friends of mine, who are also members of my Veterans Advisory Committee, Denny Mayer and Manfred Endenhofer, who both were lost earlier this year. I'd like to invite Borough President Richards to announce the name of a late veteran, and then what I'm going to do is, as I did last year, we're going to go like that, okay? And everybody will stand up, and you've all done this before.
Harry Yeomans.
Captain Miller of BFC 40.
Specialist Ryan Walker, U.S. Army, killed in action January 5th, 2006. Sergeant Rhodes, 46th Engineer Battalion, killed in action, Madi, Iraq.
Anybody else? Please. Sandy.
Lieutenant Colonel John Peterkin passed away last year. They honored him to a party Sunday, and he will be missed.
Chief Warrant Officer Philip Cameron, United States Navy, passed away a couple of years ago.
Thank you.
Former State Senator Frank Ottman,
Very nice.
Manny Edenhofer, who was president of Chapter 32, and Kenneth Troutman passed away. Thank you.
Ed Daniels and Bernie Allen.
First Sergeant Richard DeBasco, Orlando, Florida, United States Marine Corps. And General Powell.
General Powell.
Oh, yeah.
General Powell. Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to state a name?
Freedom and Search Last Martin Bird, KIA, Android, Vietnam, 1968.
Sir.
My buddy Mike Smekowski, who was by my side in Vietnam, succumbed to PTSD, committed suicide 10 years ago.
Okay. And I would like to to end this portion of the program by just remembering my uncle, Sam Katz, who was in the U.S. Air Force, who fought in the War of Independence as well in Israel. And I wanted to also mention once again, I also already did, but Pat Toro, who we all remember very well. And now I would like to signal for taps. May their blessing always be of a memory. I'd like to invite Vanessa Guzzo once again to sing America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Great job. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite Rabbi Eli Block from the Chabad of Rigo Park to say the benediction.
We beseech thee, the Creator of all mankind, may he grant long life and health to all those that served in defense of these United States of America. May their eyes never dim, their eyes that saw separation, pain, and suffering, see the joy in the eyes of their family and all of those to whom they gave the gift of freedom. May the hands that held instruments of war behold and hold the bounty of this great country. May their feet that carried them bravely into danger in defense of their fellow, of their brothers in arms, and all of those that they left behind, continue to carry them and be at our side, showing us and our children and our grandchildren the pride and sacrifice that comes in the defense of the country. For those that came back but did not come back whole, whether in body or in spirit, know that by extension we become your arms and your legs, your eyes and your ears. Through us and in us, we carry the sacrifice that you paid, and we will convey that sacrifice for many, many generations to come. Thank you, and God bless.
Please be seated. We want to thank, I'm going to ask Borough President Richards to say closing remarks in a second. We want to thank so many for today's ceremony. First, I want to thank Dan Brown for the work he does with the veterans all year long. I want to thank my entire staff. I can't tell you how many people are here from my office just to pay respect to the veterans of this country, and I want to thank all of them for being here today. I want to thank Francis Lewis High School Junior ROTC. I'm not sure any one of us could have stood up here this whole time under the direction of Al Lahoud for presenting the colors today and standing there the whole time. I want to thank Pastor Ijaz Nabi and Rabbi Eli Block for performing our invocation and benediction. Our great our great soloist Vanessa Guzzo for making it possible for me never to be able to sing the national anthem here again because she was so outstanding. I want to thank her for that. I want to thank Staff Sergeant Mario Tronti for being our bugler today. And I also want to foremost thank New York City Parks Department for the work that they do with us every single year, but for also making sure this monument stands tall every single day of the year. So thank you to the New York City Parks Department. Before I ask Borough President Richards to come up here, I'd like to do two things. Number one, I would like to acknowledge 20 years since 9/11 and all of the people who perished that day, all of the men and women that have fought since that day to keep our country safe and to make sure that it did not repeat itself here in this country, and to really just acknowledge the sacrifices of those that are still losing their lives every single day because they spend day in and day out on that site of the towers. Our hearts go out to them. Our government should take care of them. And we give them all the praise today for the work that they have done since then, and we will never forget it. The second thing I'd like to do is just take a moment to remember the men and women who are still fighting all over the world so that we can put our families to bed every night. It is important never to forget that as we celebrate our veterans and we celebrate those that lost their lives for this country on Memorial Day, that there are still men and women whose families do not have fathers and mothers and all that comes with the family life, who are protecting us all over the world. So I now welcome Borough President Richards to say a few remarks.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for our district attorney. And it's really an honor to be here. Once again, in closing, just thank you once again for all that you've done. It's so important that we continue to do events like this, not just as Veterans Day approaches, but we have to continue to ensure that you get the roses that you deserve while you're here. And so I am grateful to each and every one of you. I also want to thank my staff members, John Perricone, Andre Vargas, John Harris. Thank you as well for also being a part of this as well. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
I want to thank the detective investigators under Danny O'Brien, who is the deputy chief. We thank him and all of the men and women of the NYPD who are also here joining us, not only celebrating our veterans, but also watching us. So thank you so much. I think it is time to retire the colors, please.
Retire the colors! Colors, attention! Present arms. Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. March.
Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless America. God bless all of you. Thank you.